The suite door slammed with a sharp echo, and Jasmine's chest tightened as she clutched her silk wrap. Michael said, "So this is the moment we've been waiting for." His smile was charming, but his tone cut sharp. Jasmine whispered, "Yes, but waiting doesn't mean ready." The city lights spilled across the balcony, casting their shadows over the champagne untouched on the table. Michael's confidence filled the room as he stepped closer, his broad shoulders framed by the golden glow of the chandeliers. Jasmine turned away, her eyes fixed on the glittering skyline, her body trembling under the weight of truth. He believed he knew her, every curve, every secret, every past touch. But her silence betrayed a hidden storm, a secret waiting like fire behind her lips. Michael said, "What aren't you saying, Jasmine?" She closed her eyes, her heart racing like a drumbeat, knowing tonight would unravel everything. The silence pressed heavy between them, broken only by the faint hum of the city below. Jasmine leaned on the balcony railing, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Michael said, "You're holding something back, I can see it." His words sliced sharper than glass. Jasmine whispered, "Not everything is what you think." He stepped closer, the weight of his presence wrapping around her like fire. Her mind screamed to flee, yet her body betrayed her with stillness. Every flicker of the city lights seemed to mock her hesitation. She knew tonight was the unraveling, and nothing could stop the truth from clawing its way out. Michael's hand pressed against the glass door, his reflection split against hers. His tone was low but unyielding as he said, "I built everything for us. Don't lie to me now." Jasmine's heart pounded against her chest as her eyes locked with his reflection. "I never lied," she whispered, her voice quivering. The chandelier flickered above them, shadows scattering across marble and silk. His body towered, every line of his frame spelling dominance, but her silence screamed louder than words. She wanted to confess, but fear held her prisoner. The suite's air turned thick, as if the walls themselves absorbed their conflict. Michael's voice thundered, "If you're mine, be honest with me." Jasmine's breath hitched as she whispered, "I'm more than you think I am." The chandelier's golden glow fell across her trembling face, highlighting every flicker of fear and strength. His jaw clenched, his body rigid, yet his eyes betrayed a hunger deeper than pride. Jasmine gripped the balcony railing harder, knuckles pale against her mahogany skin. The war between pride and truth raged inside her. The first tear slid down Jasmine's cheek, silent and scorching. Michael's chest rose sharply, fury clashing with disbelief. He said, "You're hiding something and I'll find it." She whispered, "Maybe you don't know me at all." The words fractured the air between them. His fists clenched, but his heart stuttered at her defiance. The night outside glittered mercilessly, mocking their unraveling bond. Jasmine turned her face toward the city, her tears catching the neon glow, knowing nothing would ever be the same after tonight. Morning light crept through the silk curtains, soft but merciless. Jasmine sat on the edge of the bed, her bare feet pressing against the cold marble floor. Michael's voice broke the silence. "You don't sleep when I'm near, do you?" She whispered. "Sleep is hard when the past won't rest." His gaze sharpened, searching her face for answers. The weight of his empire clung to him, but his heart was restless. Jasmine's mind replayed her childhood, nights filled with her mother's absence and her father's silence. She carried scars unseen, yet they pulsed with every breath. Michael touched her shoulder gently, but her body stiffened. He felt her distance like a blade pressed against his chest. Jasmine walked into the bathroom, the mirror fogged from running water. She pressed her palms against the glass, whispering, "You're stronger than this." Michael leaned at the doorway, his reflection overlapping hers. He said, "I built a world for us, but I can't build your trust." Her eyes shimmered, but she refused to meet his stare. The sound of rushing water filled the silence between their truths. The woman in the mirror looked like a stranger, polished, wrapped in silk, yet chained to secrets. Jasmine's lips trembled, but the words trapped inside her heart burned too deep to release. Later, Jasmine slipped onto the balcony, morning sun painting the sky with pale gold. She whispered, Why does love feel heavier than loss? Michael followed, glass of water in his hand, his jaw tense. Because you make it a battle, he answered. Her heart clenched at the sharpness of his tone. She turned, meeting his piercing eyes, fire and longing colliding inside them. Her voice wavered. I'm not who you think I am. Michael's chest rose sharply as he took a slow step closer. The distance between them felt endless, though only inches remained. Michael dropped the glass on the table, water trembling inside it. His words were low but sharp. Secrets destroy more than lies. Jasmine clutched the railing tighter, her knuckles white. She said, not all secrets are poison. Some are shields. His lips pressed into a thin line, his body rigid, caught between fury and yearning. The wind carried strands of her braids across her cheek, and he reached forward instinctively, then froze. Jasmine's eyes softened, but her silence cut deeper than words. The weight of her past pressed into the fragile air between them. Back inside, Jasmine sank onto the velvet sofa, her eyes staring at nothing. Michael paced before her, restless energy dripping from every movement. You're keeping me in the dark, he said, his voice strained. Jasmine whispered, maybe the truth isn't yours to demand. His chest tightened at her defiance, both maddened and captivated by her strength. The room's silence grew louder than any scream. She closed her eyes, clutching a pillow to her chest, every breath trembling with memories she couldn't yet release. He stopped pacing, frozen by the storm he felt rising from her silence. The afternoon sun poured through tall glass windows, streaking across marble floors like liquid fire. Jasmine stood near the window, arms folded tightly across her chest. Michael entered with an intensity that made the room feel smaller. He said, you can't keep building walls between us. Jasmine turned, her eyes sharp yet trembling, whispering, sometimes walls are all I have left. His jaw flexed, hands shoved deep into his pockets, his frustration brewing. He wanted her softness, but her silence screamed louder than her words. She looked past him, her gaze fixed on the city's endless skyline, as though searching for freedom she couldn't name. Michael's heart pounded, aching for closeness, but pride kept him from moving nearer. Jasmine moved toward the piano in the corner, her fingers tracing its glossy black surface. Do you ever feel like we're strangers living in borrowed time? She asked. Michael leaned against the wall, his shoulders tense, his gaze unrelenting. No, I feel like I'm drowning in a love I can't control. Her breath hitched, the confession cutting deep. She wanted to believe him, but his pride often built prisons between them. Jasmine pressed one key softly, the note echoing into silence. The sound seemed to mock the fragile bridge between them, reminding her of all the unspoken truths. Michael's eyes softened for a moment, but suspicion returned too quickly, shadowing his face. The air thickened as Michael stepped closer, his footsteps echoing like a drumbeat. You can't keep treating me like the enemy, he said, voice low but urgent. Jasmine held her ground, her chin tilting upward in defiance. You make yourself the enemy when you don't trust me. His chest tightened, fury and desire colliding inside him. The distance between them shrank, until their breaths mingled. His hand hovered near her cheek, but hesitation froze him. She whispered, You don't know me, Michael. Not really. The words pierced deeper than any blade. He clenched his jaw, torn between reaching for her and pulling away before he shattered. Jasmine pulled back, retreating toward the balcony doors, her steps light but heavy with meaning. I've lived my whole life proving myself to men who wanted control, she said, her voice breaking. Michael followed, his body tense, but his voice softer now. I don't want control. I want you. Her eyes flickered with disbelief, but hope lingered in the corners. The wind outside rattled the doors, carrying the weight of unspoken truths. She pressed her palm to the glass, cold against her skin, needing a barrier. Michael stopped just short of reaching her, fists unclenching as he realized her fear was not of him, but of surrender. Michael's voice dropped to a whisper, raw and unguarded. Every time you push me away, I feel like I'm losing you to ghosts I can't fight. Jasmine's throat tightened, her body trembling as she turned slowly. "Because ghosts never stop following me," she admitted. The moment cracked open, fragile as glass between them. His eyes searched hers, desperate for a truth she still held back. She wanted to collapse into his arms, but pride and fear chained her still. The sunlight faded into dusky shadows, painting the room in amber and blue. Michael reached for her hand, but she pulled away just before contact, leaving him shattered. The night sky pressed against the glass walls, city lights flickering like restless stars. Jasmine stood near the bed, her breath unsteady, her hands clutched tight at her silk robe. Michael's voice trembled with both rage and disbelief as he said, "You carried yourself like someone with secrets, but now I see the truth hiding in plain sight." Her chest rose sharply as she whispered, "The truth is that you never really knew me." His eyes widened, fury flashing, but confusion bleeding through. The silence stretched between them like broken glass on marble, sharp and dangerous. Jasmine's heart pounded, knowing the words she would speak next would change everything. Michael's voice cracked as he stepped closer, each word a dagger. "You let me believe you belonged to another man before me. Why hide this?" Jasmine's eyes glistened with tears, her body trembling as she said, "Because purity was never my prize to wave before you." His breath caught, the revelation clawing through him like fire. The idea that she was untouched shredded the image he built of her. His fists clenched, but not from anger, his pride fractured. Jasmine's lips quivered, but her voice stayed firm. "I thought you wanted me, not the stories you told yourself about me." He stumbled back a step, as though her confession struck harder than any blow. Michael's chest heaved as he muttered, "I thought I was claiming what another man had touched, but now I see I never knew the woman I married." Jasmine's tears slipped down, but her gaze held firm. "You never asked who I was. You only asked who I had been." His eyes darted away, shame burning in his throat. The walls seemed to close in, silk and marble, unable to hide the rawness between them. She gripped the edge of the bed, trembling, yet standing in defiance of his shattered pride. Michael's voice rose, breaking through the silence. "Do you know what this means, Jasmine? Every doubt, every thought I had about you. It was all built on lies I told myself." Her lips trembled as she answered, "And maybe that's why we're broken, because you loved the idea of me, not me." His throat tightened, his eyes glistening though no tears fell. He paced, fists loosening, anger dissolving into raw confusion. Jasmine's heart cracked under the weight of her words, but she stood tall, her silence carrying more truth than any scream. The distance between them felt endless, though they were only steps apart. The weight of truth pressed down like a storm about to break. Jasmine whispered, "I was untouched because I refused to give myself to anyone who wouldn't see my worth." Michael froze, his chest rising sharply, pride cracking into shards. "And I was too blind to see what was in front of me," he admitted, voice raw. Her tears fell, but her face glowed with strength, not shame. Silence filled the room, but it was no longer empty. It was alive with the force of revelation. The night outside burned brighter, as though the city itself bore witness to their unraveling. Michael's voice thundered through the suite, shaking the fragile silence. "You kept this from me, Jasmine. Do you know what it's done to me?" She stood firm, tears burning down her face, whispering, "What it's done to you is nothing compared to what silence has done to me." His fists clenched, rage warring with desperation. He stepped closer, eyes blazing, but her defiance burned brighter. Every flicker of light painted their faces with pain, and neither looked away. The air was electric, heavy with the threat of breaking everything or binding them in fire. Michael's chest rose sharply as his voice broke. "I was blind with pride, thinking I could own you, when all I wanted was to be the man you'd trust." Jasmine's breath caught as she whispered, "You wanted obedience, not love." The words split him open, his heart raw and exposed. He grabbed the back of a chair, grounding himself against the storm inside him. Jasmine's eyes locked on his, her strength trembling but unyielding. "If I was untouched, It was by choice, she said, her tone slicing through the air. His pride shattered completely, leaving only a man broken before her. He surged forward, his voice cracking. Then why marry me, Jasmine, if you feared me more than loved me? Her lips trembled as she whispered, because I believed love could grow even in broken ground. His body stiffened, her confession sinking like knives. His eyes glistened, fighting tears he refused to show. Jasmine's hand rose halfway toward him before falling back to her side, her pride holding her hostage. The chandelier swayed slightly, the shadows stretching across their faces like scars. Their breaths collided, heavy, desperate, carrying words neither could yet speak. The breaking point was near. Jasmine's voice rose, sharp and trembling. I gave you my name, my vow, but you never asked for my truth. Michael's fists slammed the table, his body trembling. Because I thought I already knew you. The crash echoed, rattling the glasses and her heart. She stepped back, tears falling freely now, but her gaze fierce. Then know me now, she cried. His shoulders sagged, fury melting into anguish, his pride stripped bare. The storm of emotions filled the room, every heartbeat louder than words. Their love stood on the edge of survival, fragile and burning. Michael's breath came in ragged gasps, his voice no longer thunder but a whisper of surrender. Then help me see you, Jasmine, not the story I made. Her tears glowed under the chandelier as she stepped closer, voice breaking. Then stop fighting me and fight for us. The silence that followed was deafening, charged with unbearable tension. His trembling hand rose slowly, this time not with control, but with pleading. Her body shook as she allowed his fingers to brush hers, fragile as a fragile flame. For the first time, the storm quieted, leaving only raw, dangerous honesty between them. Dawn crept into the suite, soft light spilling across the marble floors like a fragile promise. Jasmine sat on the edge of the sofa, her eyes red but unbroken. Michael lingered by the balcony, his body heavy with shame. He whispered, I never wanted to hurt you. Jasmine's voice was low but firm. Yet hurt is what we became. The silence between them felt less violent now, but sharp, like broken glass waiting to cut again. The light painted their faces with truth, every scar and tear visible. Neither moved closer, but both ached in the space between. Michael turned slowly, his eyes tired but burning with need. I don't deserve forgiveness, but I can't walk away from you. Jasmine lifted her gaze, her tears catching the morning glow. You don't ask for forgiveness, you earn it. Her words settled heavy, yet her voice trembled with quiet hope. He stepped forward, but stopped short, leaving space between them. Jasmine clutched the pillow tighter, grounding herself in its softness. The air was calmer now, but no less fragile, like a bridge rebuilt from ash. Both carried wounds too deep for quick healing, yet neither let go. The room seemed smaller, every breath pulling them closer to a truth they couldn't avoid. Michael's voice cracked, tell me what I can do to earn you. Jasmine shook her head, lips trembling. Stop fighting to win me. Start learning to see me. His chest tightened, the weight of her words carving into him. He reached for the table, gripping it as though to keep from falling apart. Jasmine's heart ached watching him, but she held her ground. The air between them pulsed with honesty, as though their pain had finally found its language. Jasmine rose slowly, her bare feet silent against the marble. If you want me, Michael, then see me, not who you thought I was, not who you feared I'd be. He froze, her words like chains breaking around them. His lips parted, his pride stripped away. Then let me see you, he whispered. Their eyes locked, and for the first time, neither turned away. Jasmine's tears spilled freely, but she did not hide them. Michael's shoulders sagged, the weight of his walls finally crumbling. The air filled with something dangerous and new, possibility. Michael stepped forward, this time without hesitation. His voice was raw, trembling. I'll see you, Jasmine, even if it costs me every piece of pride I have left. Her chest tightened, a sob breaking loose as she whispered, Then, maybe we still have a chance. Their hands finally met, no longer trembling with defiance, but shaking with vulnerability. The morning sun poured brighter through the glass, washing them in fragile light. The storm had quieted, but scars remained etched in every glance. Love had not healed them yet, but it had survived the fire. The sweet had grown quiet, morning shifting into noon. Jasmine stood by the balcony, her fingers pressed lightly against the glass. Michael sat on the edge of the bed, his face buried in his hands. He said, "I don't know if I can undo what pride has broken." Jasmine's gaze softened, but did not falter. "You can't undo, Michael. You can only begin again, or let go." The city roared outside, but within the room, only their ragged breaths filled the silence. Love lingered, fragile and bleeding, waiting for the choice they feared to make. Michael lifted his head slowly, his eyes bloodshot but steady. "If you give me one chance, Jasmine, I'll spend the rest of my life proving I see you." Her lips trembled, her silence louder than words. She wanted to collapse into him, but her scars reminded her that love came with cost. Jasmine whispered, "A promise is easy. Living it is harder." The weight of her words crushed him, but he nodded, determination burning through despair. The air thickened with the possibility of both redemption and loss, hovering like a blade between them. Jasmine walked toward him, her steps slow, uncertain. Her voice quivered, "If I stay, it won't be because I forgot what hurt me. It'll be because I believe in what could still save us." Michael's chest rose sharply, his hand reaching out, but not daring to touch her yet. He whispered, "Then believe in me." Her eyes shimmered with fear and longing, her body trembling as she stopped inches away. The world seemed to hold its breath, the room suspended in fragile silence. This was the moment where love either took root or crumbled forever. Her tears spilled as Jasmine finally placed her hand in his. "If you fail me, Michael, I won't survive it." His grip tightened gently, his voice raw. "Then I'll never let you fall." The chandelier above them flickered, light scattering across the marble like shattered stars. For the first time, their silence was not filled with distance but with fragile unity. They stood together, bruised by pride, scarred by secrets, yet bound by something they could not sever. Their story was no longer about what was broken, but about what remained. The city hummed beyond the glass, but in the suite, time stilled. Jasmine whispered, "Then see me, every day, as I am." Michael's breath caught, his eyes locking onto hers, unflinching. He said softly, "I'll never forget tonight, because it taught me who you are." The words lingered in the air like smoke after fire. Their hands trembled together, not in fear, but in the fragile birth of truth. The suite was quiet, yet the silence roared louder than any vow. Whatever came next, the world would remember this as the night love survived its own destruction.